All right, this next story is even more of a travesty than the killing of Kai Gurley. This story deserves to get national headlines. This story deserves to have veterans groups all over the country come together and go after these police officers. This story deserves the candidates that are currently running for president to get on board, okay? Because again, this is another instance where police officers basically killed a man. They allowed him to die. And this man is a veteran. This man served his country. This man put his life on the line for America. And he comes home, and this is how he's treated.
Daily Beast posted this story on yesterday. Shelley, thanks for my iPad here. Elliot Williams, Tulsa County. The cops left him on the floor for 5 days. This man was a veteran. This man served America. He had a broken neck, 37 years old, plead for help. The guards did nothing to save him. And this was a veteran. And the issue that I have is, I would love to hear Donald Trump or Ted Cruz or John Kasich, Hillary Clinton, Bernie Sanders mention this guy. Right? See, we love to praise and say, oh, cops have a very difficult job, and folks who work in law enforcement, very difficult job. This was somebody who served America, and they left him on the floor for 5 days. And they just said, oh, we thought he was acting.
They did nothing to save him, but he did everything to protect us in the military, and it is deplorable. And I do hope that veterans groups, Republican candidates and Democrat candidates for president do take up this cause and bring this to light, because this is something that cannot go unnoticed. You do not treat your veterans like this. You don't treat any human like this, but especially someone who was willing to give his life for this country. It's just deplorable.
Yeah, again, a way you highlight something like this by using specifics to talk about a broader issue is certainly in debates, questioning, town hall meetings, even disrupting and protesting if you have to, is a very powerful tool to be able to get these issues across to the candidates and force them to talk about it.
Angela?
Yeah, I think, here we are in a day and age, this, in 2016, if a child is born, a black child is born this year, they have a 1 in 3 chance of spending time in jail. And so much of this has to do with the fact that when you see us, we are inherently criminal. We are inherently violent. And so now I just wonder what the statistic is for a black child being born today and their likelihood of being shot or abused by law enforcement.
Well, I hope folks who say, y'all need to just tamp that stuff down. You shouldn't be out there. The reality is, the only reason we are even having a robust discussion and the kind of changes when it comes to criminal justice in this country, it is because of Black Lives Matter movement, because folks have taken to the streets. I cannot recall another point in American history where you had this level of attention over this period of time. And the other day, there was one particular union chief in one city who said that, well, there's gun violence against cops. It's because of all of these attacks on cops, and cops are just afraid to do their job. No, they're afraid of these. They're afraid of this. They're afraid of cameras recording what they're doing, because if you're doing what's right, you're not worried if cameras are rolling.
And this is just accountability, which they're supposed to have anyway. Our taxpayer dollars pay their salaries, so this is the least that we can be able to do.
Yeah, and I just want to share what happened to body cameras, by the way. Remember the push about a few months ago for body cameras and the funding for body cameras for the police, supposedly to protect them? What happened to that? Doesn't seem to be there.
There's not enough funding, so it can only happen in so many municipalities at once.
That's right. Camera's important.
On the conservative side, you have the Tea Party, which is a grassroots movement. And what the Tea Party was effective in doing is running candidates and getting them elected to office to push their agenda. What I hope to see is that the young people who are behind Black Lives Matter will also, like we see in Baltimore, run candidates and push the system to be effective on the outside, but also be effective on the inside. If you want to make change, you can do it as an agitator on the outside, but you you can also do it from the inside.
Well, I would hope to see the Tea Party come to the aid of that veteran.
Absolutely.
I want to see the Tea Party be willing to say what happened to Peter Leong and who killed Kai Gurley is dead wrong. And so my deal is don't sit here and wave the flag and talk about veterans and talk about the rights of the people when other Americans who are getting screwed by the same system.
Right.
All
right, let me break this down for you a little bit further. That man was killed in Tulsa County, which is in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Okay, the police, for the most part, and I'm in Texas, but I go to Oklahoma all the time, and northern Oklahoma up by Oklahoma City, etc. The police in Oklahoma are, for the most part, from what I have seen personally, terrible. Okay, this man was a veteran, okay, and maybe they knew it, maybe they didn't, okay, but he was a veteran. The man is in a cell. The man's neck is broken. The man is paralyzed. The man cannot move. They had a minimum obligation to make sure that that man was fed, and I believe it's 3 times a day, might be 2, but at least twice a day. Nobody noticed that that man hadn't eaten in a day or 2 days. Nobody noticed that that man was lying on the floor in the same position. If you walk past the man's cell once or twice a day and you just happen to look in and you see, you have to notice that that guy hasn't moved. That guy hasn't moved. You got an 8-hour shift and you are supposed to check on these people. But for 5 days, this man hasn't eaten and they thought he was faking. I mean, come on. I mean, if you had a person that was lying in the street that you didn't know, and you drove past them, and then you took the same route the next day, and you saw that same person lying in the street, wouldn't that generate some kind of a feeling, wait a minute, something is wrong here. Let me go at least go take a look and see what's going on. But the police, they don't have that compassion. Okay, they don't have that empathy for other human beings. It's always the police versus everybody else. Now, this is not the first case of this happening, and as I stated, Oklahoma, the same state where that you want to call him a road cop, was recently convicted for raping 13 women. Okay, how does that go on? But there was another instance, I believe it was 2 years ago, where a Hispanic man and his wife and his daughter go to the movies. They come out of the movies and the daughter starts giving the mother, crap. Okay, well, the mother, obviously, she did what she had to do and she got into it with the daughter. Well, somebody happened to call the police. Here come the police. Now, the husband wasn't really, involved in the yelling and the shouting or whatever. But what did the police do? The police turned around and attacked the man, and they killed him. They killed the man for not doing anything, okay? And while they were killing him, the wife is screaming blue murder that they're killing her husband, and even the daughter, was screaming, "Stop killing my dad." They killed him anyway. So, again, I'm back to this is a police state, and anybody who believes that the police are here to serve and protect has got another thing coming. It's the police and it's us. Just like they said, they claim that it's police against everybody else. Well, everybody else needs to form an opinion that it's all of us versus the police. Now, again, there are some good police, but every time they talk about good police, where are they? Where are the ones that hold the bad police and turn the bad police in? We're the ones that hold their brother law enforcement officers accountable. You don't see it. You don't see it. So, I've long had the opinion, fuck the police. I still have the opinion, fuck the police. Even when I need them, I'm very, very leery. I will not call the police unless absolutely, absolutely necessary. And I have law enforcement in my family, and they're family members. So obviously, I may have a slightly, and I do mean slightly, different opinion of them because I've known them, for all of their lives. They're a lot younger than I am. But even so, if they fuck up, they fucked up, and they need to be held accountable. But this was a shame. We're talking again about a veteran who served his country, lying on the floor, paralyzed, and dying. And he struggled for his life. He begged for help, and they basically just ignored him.